Good morning. I am Laura Mark, Vice President of Operations. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes to speak about the crisis management plan my team has developed. The purpose of this presentation is to summarize my team's proposed crisis management plan for Chipotle. We are looking for the Executive Committee to provide their buy-in for implementing this plan. The risk of a crisis is the combination of the probability that a crisis occurs multiplied by the impact that the crisis would have when it occurs. At Chipotle, we have a multitude of risks to the organization, such as food quality and safety and threats to our data security. All of these can ultimately affect negatively on our revenue. The purpose of establishing the crisis management plan is to mitigate these and other risks to the organization. The aim of the Chipotle crisis management plan is to protect Chipotle's property and infrastructure and safeguard business continuity. The plan provides up-to-date details on Chipotle's stakeholders, our various suppliers, and emergency contacts. The plan lists Chipotle's primary and secondary crisis command centers and outlines employee authority, responsibilities, and key functions during a crisis event. Most importantly, the plan ensures to protect our employees and customers. A crisis management strategy is broken down into 5 stages. First, we must try to prevent the risk of a crisis from occurring. Then we prepare for the potential crisis. Third, we respond effectively and timely to limit impacts to our business. We then work to recover from the crisis. Finally, we mitigate to minimize the effects of the crisis. The crisis management program establishes the details of all these stages. In this presentation, I will be focusing on how we prepare, respond, and recover from a potential crisis. This is the organizational chart of the proposed crisis management team, CMT. The CMT executive leader will have direct line of communication to the CEO and will establish a reporting cadence with the CEO during a crisis event. The CMT executive leader is assigned as the Chief Operations Officer and as seen on this slide, various leaders will report into this function. The Chief Communications Officer reports to the CMT executive leader and will serve as a communications spokesperson. As listed in the plan, the crisis response is broken down into 3 components. First is the activation stage. This is where there is acknowledgement and confirmation by the CMT executive leader of the crisis event. Next, the crisis management team is assembled and the team collects the crisis event details. This is done by following the actionable steps listed in the plan and by using detailed checklists provided in the plan. Finally, the team assesses the impact of the crisis event. Next is the intermediate stage. This is where the team develops, designs, and deploys a crisis response using the actionable steps and roles assigned in the plan. A crisis communication response is developed and deployed. The next slide will cover this in more detail. Finally, there is a review, assessment, and adjustment of the crisis responses activities by the CMT. The crisis communication response is the framework for distributing communication materials to our stakeholders. It provides timely and accurate information and ensures Chipotle speaks as one voice. The CMT Communications Officer is the crisis spokesperson and is responsible for selecting appropriate communication channels. Internal and external communication methods and templates are fully detailed in the plan. Executive CMT leader approves all the crisis communications in alignment with the CEO. Lastly is the recovery stage. This is where the team reviews the damage and evaluates the business continuity. The CMT conducts the lessons learned and ensures the crisis event activities are fully documented to help mitigate future crisis event scenarios. In summary, the crisis management plan provides the framework and actionable steps for responding to crisis events in a timely and appropriate manner, and is critical to Chipotle's global business operations. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your questions and support on this initiative.